In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my Ronnie, I listen to my RonyiQ. They are rare and they are few who can compare with RonyiQ. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for RonyiQ. They are rare and they are few who can compare with RonyiQ. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for RonyiQ. RonyiQ. It's time for RonyiQ. RonyiQ. It's time for RonyiQ. In the morning while I'm driving, Ronnie, I really come alive when it's time for RonyiQ. I listen to my Ronnie, Ronnie. I listen to my Ronnie. It's time for RonyiQ. Take a seat and go meet Ronnie. Sweet, 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 sweet Ronnie. No day complete without my Ronnie. She can't be beat. Sweet, sweet Ronnie.
Well, good morning to you all. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Unfortunately, 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 let me see if I can make this show up differently. Let's try this. No? No. Okay. I hope you guys had a fabulous week. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Unfortunately, the way this is set up, you can't see the whole Lyndon B. Johnson quote. Uh, it says, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. So it seems like the pockets of America are being emptied. Are you guys agreeing to empty your pockets to this administration that is lying to you? Uh, it has recently come out that the $1 trillion budget that was given to the Pentagon under the stewardship of someone who bankrupted the last two military organizations that he was head over. It seems like they have a lose it or use it or lose it attitude towards your tax dollars. So, therefore, to ensure that they continue to get $1 trillion budget, if if it's not also increase, it has come out that peak keg breath has hold on, that peak keg breath has wasted over 93 billion of your tax dollars. Did you guys hear about that? Did you guys hear that Pete Breath has decided that it is fine for him to squander $93 billion of your tax dollars that is in the Pentagon budget? Uh, yes. He bought things like that are on my thumbnail. He bought things like crab legs, lobster tails, millions of dollars worth of steaks, millions of dollars worth of steaks, millions of dollars worth of crab leg, lobster tail, uh, high end furniture that was described as office furniture, uh, uh, Apple computer and Apple gadgets. He bought a grand a grand what is it a grand piano for I forget his he was over the Navy, the guy who's over either the Air Force or the Navy. He also bought a some flute for this guy, some pricey flute. I mean, it seems like he was courting this guy. Let me find let me find I'm pretty sure the Pentagon had a well stocked bar, kind of like when Keg Breath showed up at his first function military function to speak. I believe he was in Germany, and he reached under the podium and he did this. The same Pete Kegbreath, who in his confirmation hearing was specifically asked about his drinking, and is your drinking that bad that you have agreed to give up drinking if you get the job as the department at the head of the Pentagon? Keg Breath said yes. This was a Keg Breath first out of the country speaking engagement. So, do you wonder? Do you wonder? Do you wonder about Keg Breath? Do you think these mahogany walls that he didn't want to follow rules of engagement from people who uh, put together war plans in mahogany rooms with mahogany walls and 80 years ago? I wonder if Pete Kegbreath is sitting at a desk, a mahogany desk full of crab leg, caviar, steaks, and lobster. I wonder if a Keg Breath has a mahogany bar, a fully stocked bar with a top shelf liquor on the bar. Is that what Keg Breath would rather use these mahogany walls for? I wonder if that baby grand piano uh, is actually made of mahogany. I wonder if that little flute he bought for the Air Force colonel is also whittled out of mahogany wood. Do you wonder? Okay, so how, how, you may ask, how in the world could one man? Uh, Now we have to look at the fact that if you have $1 trillion budget and you have to spend $93 billion under the guise of, well, if we don't use it, we'll lose it. So if we don't use this $93 billion, then they won't put it in the budget for next year. Well, obviously, if you're spending $93 billion on bullshit, on crab legs, $93 billion, and your mindset is we'll lose it if we don't use it, but it isn't obvious to you that you obviously don't need it because you're buying bullshit. So you want to ensure that you will be able to buy all of these other useless things, as people are losing their health care, as people on food stamps has to have to re-register because that bitch over the Department of Agriculture is acting like people on food stamps are getting too much money for food and substance. The people who are on welfare, who, from my understanding, have been whittled down to not poor people with families. No, no, no. You have to work. You have to work to get a low enough pay that you're not able to buy food stamps, and then we'll give you food stamps as you go to work for a job that doesn't pay you enough to buy food. Now, for the disabled, for children, for people who can't work, who get an average of under $200 a month for food stamps. So, do you really need this $93 billion that you just fucked off? Let me get into this story. But y'all mad at poor people. Y'all still mad at the poor people? Y'all ain't heard of what Keg Breath was spending all that money on? Let me share this with you. As people, tens of millions American citizens are losing their health care. Y'all don't care what Keg Breath is spending uh, your money on? Your tax dollar? Y'all not worried about y'all tax dollar now? Let's see what Keg Breath has been spending your tax dollar on. The Pentagon spent 93 billion during month-long use it or lose it spending spree. Now, let me see. Here we go. No thanks. Pop up ad. The Pentagon spent $93 billion in September of last year, more money than it had in any other fiscal year since 2008, much of which was used on pricey food, luxury goods, and high end furniture, according to recent analysis by government watchdog Open the Books. For decades, the research organization has tracked the annual use it or lose it spending free, a time when the military spends the rest of its budget by any means necessary before funding rules force it to forfeit any unused funds. So instead of saying, hey, this is what we have left over in our budget, I'm sure our government that is in so much debt could use it. Of course, we understand in this administration that we're trying to claw back every penny that we can. So that's why we spent in Doge to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, to claw back the alleged $2 billion that Elon Musk said that he could claw back out of the jobs and grant programs and agencies that help the American consumer recoup money that corporations have stolen from it. The agencies that help give soft aid to other countries to stop the spread of disease. We don't care about stopping the spread of disease. Look who we have over Health and Human Services. We have somebody who has made the obscure disease that had totally been conquered in the U.S., measles, a new thing, a new outbreak in the United States. So surely we don't care about spending money in other countries to stop ravaging diseases that takes the lives of other people. No, 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 no. We will not be that kind. We will only spend our money to buy missiles, to go to war with countries that didn't do anything to us. We will spend our money to fight Netanyahu's war. and pretend like we have an absolute good reason, even though we cannot tell the American people from one day to the next what the actual reason we are spending these billions of dollars. No, it is too expensive to have any type of universal health care. No, it is too expensive to extend the Obama the to extend the what is it to make it possible for the Affordable Care Act to be extended under the COVID rules that we were giving people to stay on Obamacare. No, well, if I say Obamacare, some of you guys are going to be like, no, we don't have money to give health insurance to people. It's called Obamacare. Oh, but we love the Affordable Care Act, but we're not going to give any money for Obamacare because a lot of you are so stupid, you don't even understand that they are one and the same. Okay, so we don't have money to ensure that people can stay insured, health insurance, knowing that without health insurance, people who have long-standing illness will have no primary care physician. Knowing that without a primary care physician, these people who take daily medications to treat or to treat their illnesses, no, they won't be able to get prescriptions because emergency rooms don't give out prescriptions. Well, some of you guys may not understand that. Some of you guys, I forgot everyone is so independently wealthy, and everyone is making so much money, and everyone, I'm this and I have that, and I have this and I make that, and I am. I forget some of us are just so independently wealthy. We cannot be bothered to worry about the state of our nation. And for someone to report on the state of your nation, oh, they must be on this. They must need that. No, they must be telling you the information that your for-profit media is neglecting to tell you that this nation is in turmoil. That's what they're doing. Okay, let's get back to cake breath. Okay. For decades, the resource organization has tracked the annual user to loot list spending spree, a time when the military spends the rest of its budget by any means necessary before funding rules force it to forfeit any unused funds and potentially see a reduced budget the next year. Well, if you're not using the money, $93 billion would help shore up some safety net programs. But God forbid that you have an extra $93 billion that you gave to the military that even Pete Kegbreath hadn't spent in the year. God forgive you sure people because you sure are not making sure that corporations are paying people living wages as in in everything in the average American life has increased. As you know, all the food, even the food is astronomical. The cost of food is astronomical. But instead of shoring up uh, uh, wages, no, they go out and splurge on bullshit with $93 billion instead of shoring up the health care for Medicaid. Oh no, we won't do that. That is too much money to shore up Medicaid. No, we'd rather kick off 25 million people off of Medicaid instead of shoring up the subsidies for Obamacare so people can remain insured, medically insured. No, that is too much money. But y'all sat up here. Is the corporate media telling you all this motherfucking money that Keg Breath just shitted away? Let's see what he bought. Okay. But there has never been anything quite like September of 2025. Open the Books wrote on Monday. Since at least 2008, and presumably in history, no federal agency has ever spent so much on grants and contracts in a single month. The watchdog wrote. We do know that Donald Trump Jr. Procured a contract from the Pentagon. Was this one of the contracts that they were and grants that they were handing out? Um, no federal agency has ever spent so much on grants and contracts in a single month. I believe that it was announced late last year that Donald Trump Jr. Procured a contract from the Pentagon. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that it was late in the year that Eric Trump also procured a contact from the Defense Department, which is under what? The Pentagon. Okay. Okay. Let's see. In a single month, the Watchdog group wrote. In the last 5 working days of September alone, the DoD spent 50.1 billion on grants and contracts, more than the annual defense budget of countries like Israel and Italy. Well, why does Israel have to have a defense budget when they got the United States and the American taxpayer budget money? Um, yeah. Anyway, I digress. The Defense Department spent $6.9 million on lobster tail and $2 million on Alaskan king crab in September alone. Did you hear me? The Defense Department spent $6.9 million on lobster tail and $2 million on Alaska king crab in September alone. Open Book reported it also spent $15.1 million on ribeye steak. Now, uh, my husband will not eat anything under a ribeye steak, but I don't believe that. I don't believe whatever. $15.1 million on ribeye steaks. $124,000 on ice cream machines. 124,000 on ice cream machine, and $139,224 on what? Donuts. Not 139,224 on donuts was spent at the Pentagon by this man who gave uh, officers, high ranking officers, a mandate of it. There would be no more fat generals running around here. And you bought $139 of worth of donuts? On the final day of September, Defense Secretary Pete Kegbreath, hold on. On the final day of September, Defense Secretary Pete Kegbreath told the military in a speech that it is completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon. After he spent $124,000 on ice cream and $139,224 on donuts. Just weeks later, after congressional Republicans and the president refused to negotiate with Democrats over an extension of cheaper COVID era health subsidies, the government shutdown led millions of America to lose their SNAP benefits. Just weeks later after this September date, where Keg Breath spent and blew $93 million. This is what the American people had to do just weeks later. After congressional Republicans and the president refused to negotiate with Democrats over an extension for the cheaper COVID era healthcare subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. The government shutdown led millions of America to also lose their SNAP benefits. And they said that you lost your SNAP benefits that had nothing to do with the government shutdown because they wanted to go through and have everyone reauthorized because they found so much what? Waste, fraud, and abuse in the SNAP program. Weeks after Hexel just blew $93 billion on bullshit. They said that they needed to, we need to find waste, fraud, and abuse. We need to find waste, fraud, and abuse. And we think that there is plenty in the average $197 in food stamps that we give to poor people and disabled people and children and veterans. Isn't that something? Is America great again yet? I just need to know. All you make America great again people, has America been made great again? Let's continue. The Pentagon also spent more than $225 million on furniture in September, the most since 2014, according to Open the Books. Nearly half of the furniture was labeled as office furniture. The purchases include $60,719 worth of chairs, from the premium furniture manufacturer Herman Miller. Not just regular chairs, $60,719 worth of premium furniture chairs from Herman Miller, including at least one order of their luxurious Arion chair for $1,844. Hey, the Pentagon has to have style. It has $1 trillion budget. Why not spend $1,844 and call it office furniture? The Watchdog group wrote another $12,540 paid for three-tiered fruit basket stands. Aren't you impressed that your Pentagon spent $12,540 for three-tiered fruit basket stands? Weeks before your government told you that they were going to have to rip people off their health insurance because they had no money to help the American people out who were on the Affordable Care Act. Isn't that wonderful? After your government also took the time that the government shut down over not giving you money to make sure that you could stay covered in your insurance, they also chose that moment to, for no reason but other than honoring this, to withhold food stamps for the month of November. Y'all remember that? They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that. But Keg Breath had to buy all of this luxury furniture, all of this crap, all of these contracts, all of these steaks, all of this bullshit. How did you fare, American citizen? How did your family members? I know I may be talking to all of you rich people. How did your family members fare through all of this? Okay. The department purchased 98,000. The department purchased a $98,329 Steinway and Sons grand piano, not a baby grand. I said a baby grand, not a baby grand, a grand piano. For the Air Force Chief of Staff's home, as well as a $26,000 violin. Is that also made of mahogany? The mahogany rooms that Keck Self don't want to follow the Geneva Convention because it was made 80 years ago by people making rules of engagement in mahogany walls. Was the Steinway grand piano made out of mahogany? Is that the type of mahogany that Keck Breath prefers? Is that the mahogany? Was that a violin made out of mahogany? Since he wants to rip up the Geneva Convention, it because it was made in rooms with mahogany walls and a $21,750 custom handmade flute. 98,329 for a grand piano for the Air Force Chief of Staff home, as well as a $26,000 violin and a 21,750 custom handmade flute. See, the question I want to know, who's sucking whose dick? Why is the uh Air Force Chief of Staff getting all of these monies? Who's sucking some good dick around that motherfucker? Who's laying pipe that good around this military chief of staff? Who's doing this? And for what reason is this one individual getting all of this stuff from the Pentagon budget? The Pentagon allocated $5.3 million for Apple products, including 400 of the new iPad Air M3 for $315,200. The same iPad with 128 gigabytes for storage is available online for just $499, but the DoD opted for the more expensive 512 gigabyte edition at the rate of $788 each. Open the book wrote. Of course. Why wouldn't they? It's not it's free money. The money is created in the sky and it rains down. Oh no, it's taxpayer dollars. The department spent a historic amount of the department spent a historic amount on purchases from foreign governments and foreign-owned businesses in September. Trump has made increasing American manufacturing a central part of his economic agenda, including placing tariffs on foreign goods. The Pentagon has not been doing its part, Open the Book wrote. The Pentagon made about $6.6 million of such purchases, breaking the previous record of $5.2 billion from September of 2023. Just under half of the money was used for services needed for overseas military bases, contracts that can only be purchased from international companies, but $3.6 billion was spent on goods from foreign owned companies that included motors, computer chips, and fire trucks. So we know that there is a new drone company that has been put in the Pentagon's purview that creates motors and different parts for drones, and that company is a Donald Trump Jr. company. We do know that. Okay, of the goods, 1.4 billion were manufactured abroad, 2.2 billion were manufactured in the U.S. Open the Books reported. Additionally, the DoD bought 252.3 million of products from American-owned businesses that manufacture supplies overseas, such as forklift, microphones, and radios. So, what happened to America First? Your Pentagon spent $252.3 million on American companies that own businesses, but they built their shit overseas so they didn't have to pay the American workers. And your Pentagon is complicit in paying these American workers that ships jobs overseas. How is that America First working out for you? They spent your tax dollars to prop up corporations that won't even hire you. or make it possible to hire you because they are building their shit overseas. How's that? How is America great again yet? I just need to know. Is it great again yet? Okay. Let me drop this link in my description box so you guys can peruse it. Okay, we're gonna talk about money today. Uh, oh, let me see. What is that? I'm gonna label this 93 billion wasted. You can go visit that article under my description box. It is labeled as 93 billion wasted. Let me put a dollar sign in front of that 93 billion so you know it's 93 billion dollars wasted. So let's get into let's see here if there's any other talk about that going on. Let's see where we can find any talk about that $93 billion that Keg Breath wasted. Let's see. Here we go. Let's get into it. Let me find it. I can't find it. Hold on, I apologize. Oh, maybe I have it open already. Nope. Okay. Let's find if there's anyone else talking about Keg Breath squandering all of your tax money. Yes, there is. Let's listen to a little secular talk, shall we? Here we go. This link will be under in my description box. Please avail yourself to it as well. Okay. Here we go.
Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Kegsbreath, blew... All right, guys, we got to talk about this. I see this going pretty viral here, but the New Republic says the Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Kegsbreath, blew billions of dollars, billions with a B, on fruit basket stands, chairs, and crab. The Defense Department went on a $93 billion spending spree in 2025. And my understanding is it was actually more like at the fucking end of it, like the last month, it was $93 billion. Okay, so take a look at this right here. Let me give you some of the specifics here. It was $225 million on furniture, $15.1 million on ribeye steaks, $5.3 million on Apple devices, $6.9 million on lobster, $2 million on crab legs, $98,000 on a grand piano for a staffer's home, $12,000 on fruit basket stands, $140,000 on donuts, and $124,000 on ice cream machines. So again, we're talking $93 billion in one fucking month. Okay? Now, here's the part of the conversation that I don't see many other people bringing up. Most people are just taking this at face value, and they're going, okay, clearly he went on a spending spree. Clearly, he doesn't give a fuck about how much he's spending and, doesn't care about the taxpayers' money, et cetera, et cetera. I actually think it's more nefarious than that. I think this is kind of bullshit, and I think it was almost like an attempt to launder what they're really doing with the money. I think they're basically pocketing a bunch of it. I can't prove it. I don't have evidence of it at the moment. But to me, this smells a lot like they didn't actually spend $225 million on furniture. That's just a total lie. It's like this money is clearly being just taken. It's just being taken. The mechanism, I'm not sure, but they're just taking this money because this is like, they're. It's like when somebody's cheating on their taxes and they take deductions that are not there, and you go through it and you're like, this just doesn't doesn't add up. Like, you're saying you spent this much money on this thing. Like, how do you even spend this much money on this thing? You can't do it. You can't fucking do it. And so that's my take on this. And by the way, understand, that's what the whole regime does, bro. And now they're way out over their skis, right? Like Trump basically is almost admitting it at this point when he says, I'm going to sue my own IRS for $10 billion. Like, what do you think that is? That's his attempt to make them go, oh, we won't pay you $10 billion, but we will settle for $100 million, sir. And then Trump robs the American taxpayer to the tune of $100 million. He lies and says, I'm going to give it to charity. And then he takes it and puts it in his fucking bank account. That's what that is. That's also what it is when Trump says the Board of Peace, which he started, which funny because he's starting 8 different wars, but the Board of Peace that he's the head of, he's trying to get $10 billion from U.S. taxpayers for his bullshit group that's supposed to supersede the United Nations and make him emperor of the world. But it goes in an account that only he controls. That's just like the Venezuela thing. He robbed Venezuelan oil, sold it, and then put hundreds of millions of dollars in a private account in Qatar. That's what he did. So look at this. The multiple different ways he's grifting. It's at the point now where he realizes, I could basically get away with whatever the fuck I want to get away with and nobody can do anything. So he's high in his own supply. He thinks he's invincible, and he's doing all these things. And now you have other people in the regime doing the same thing. It is literally a criminal enterprise. It is a cartel. It is a gang. It is not by any stretch of the imagination a serious government. This is a mafia. This is a mobocracy that we're witnessing right in front of our eyes. So I don't believe what they say here. I don't believe that they actually spent $225 million on furniture, okay, and $15.1 million on ribeye steaks. I don't buy it. I simply don't fucking buy it. More evidence of this, and this really says a lot, because when you have people from inside the regime going, that don't really make much sense, I think that says a lot. So take a look at this from Mediaite. Trump has been grilling aides about whether Corey Lewandowski profited off of Kristi Noem's $220 million DHS ads. So remember, Kristi Noem decided as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, and now she's no longer there.
You also remember I told you that Christine Nome, who paid that $240 million to a AIDS husband who just started that business, who never had a business in that field, that she paid him to do this ad for, and who had just opened that company in some, I believe, Delaware a P.O. box 8 days prior to procuring that $241 million contract from Kristi Noem. Do you not think that Kristi Noem was getting some of this money? Do you not think that this was a money laundering scam that Kristi Noem was in on? Corey Lewandowski recently came out and said that he can do anything he wants because he knows that 4547 will pardon him. He said that out loud and unashamed and unabashedly said that he can do whatever he wants. The same Corey Lewandowski that was running the Department of Homeland Security for the airhead, that 4547, who had as the sitting chair Ice Barbie. They said Corey Lewandowski was all up in the Department of Homeland Security, signing contracts, assigning contracts, doing all of the work, while as this airhead was off cosplaying in different hats and costumes and shit. And therefore, Corey Lewandowski said he can do whatever the fuck he want to do, because he will be getting a pardon from 45, 47, if you are unaware of that.
There, she was fired. But when she was there, she decided, I'm going to do a $220 million ad campaign. Ad buy, basically. And what she did is she traveled around the country and she was fucking riding horses and wearing cowboy hats and, you know, taking pictures holding guns and doing this thing like, don't you dare come to the United States, mister. We'll take you right out. Doing this whole goofy thing. Again, spent $220 million, like took $220 million to do this ad thing. And even Trump looked at that and went, yeah, you ain't spending no $220 million on that shit. Where the fuck did that money go? Where the fuck did that money go? Like, I don't know, what does it cost? Like $10 million to run an ad on the Super Bowl these days? So you're telling me you spent $220 million on your fucking ad campaign? Those commercials would have to be running all day, every day, on every single motherfucking channel for you to actually spend $220 million on this shit. There's no way you spend $220 million on this shit. So, even Trump's going, are they stealing it? Trump is saying that. Trump. The answer is probably yes, Don. Of course. In the same way that I think we covered this on the show, but Kristi Noem I think it was Kristi Noem, she was able to funnel some like FEMA money to Corey Lewandowski because there was like this dock by his house that needed repairs. And so they stole a bunch of FEMA money to do it. And again, how much of that did they actually pocket? That's the question. So it is a criminal regime. None of them are serving the American people. It's like they understand the world is cooked and they're just looting and pillaging on the way out. They're stealing everything that's not bolted to the motherfucking floors at this point, dog. That's what they're doing. So, man, it's just wild. Where now it's such a criminal regime that everybody's looking at everybody else like, wait, you're stealing? I'm stealing too. Fucking Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. I mean, it's a sick joke what they're doing. Remember the deal that they made with Ukraine? Where they're like, yeah, we'll keep giving you weapons, but you have to let us have like 50% of everything that's yours. All the natural resources, all the income from your ports. Like it's like they're putting terms on them that are stricter than like during the fucking Treaty of Versailles. It's just insane, right? Jared Kushner with his $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. Lord knows what these guys are taking from Israel, right? They're doing foreign policy, but taking a personal cut financially from these deals that they make foreign policy-wise. That's not foreign policy. That's fucking corruption.
And let's not forget that 45, 47 said that after Jared Kushner got that $2 billion after his first administration, that you didn't have to worry about there being any corruption because Jared Kushner would not be in his second administration. I'm curious now. I'm curious. Has Jared? He's a special envoy. So does that mean that he doesn't have to go through the rigorous security check that a government employee would have to go through, as he is the go-to man who is brokering all of these peace agreements and ceasefires and all of this stuff that they tell you have happened, but you see no evidence of anything happening other than after they come in and give you a word salad about some agreement that has factually been made. And hey, they come up on a new golf course deal in these Middle Eastern countries. Have you now, Sabar? What are you saying about think about it? Don't let them get you. I don't understand what you're referencing. I have no idea of what you're speaking of. The link is pinned if you want to hit the link. Don't get banned. Think, get banned for what? For reading a news article? What would I get banned for? Already there. Already where? Are you in the back? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you are. Saber? Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I didn't know you were back here. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know you were back. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I have a hard. Okay, I have a hard time bringing people up on Restream. How are you?
Bless you. You and you have this technology, boy. You be working through it, but you be having some challenges with it.
Yeah, I this is some I usually use StreamYard and there's no volume. I'm gonna have to go through and to let me know that someone's up. There's a little number back that I never pay attention to, but usually there's a little boop to let you know that someone has come up. Hey, Very Carey. So what's good?
Yeah, what I was saying as far as in regards to think, don't allow them to ban you because you know the cult would just continue to say that put report and anything as far as profanity laced or talking about genitals and all that. This is the kind of tools that they use. They don't go to a point of trying to address any of the facts that you're presenting. They'll do anything and everything. Why do you think they come in here? It's like trolling. Like I would never think to be going to anything related to no cult or Republican anything comments and be staying up in there going back and forth. Why would I do that? It would be a waste of time for me to do that. So what's the reason that they come in your stream to do that? Because they're trying to combat the facts that you're submitting.
Of course, and that's why I tell them if you want to have a conversation on what I'm talking about, and you notice all the talking about other things, throwing red herrings in the chat. Well, what
They'll
about
go
this? What about
but.
what about something that has absolutely nothing to do with
Oh,
what we're
what
talking about?
their response to any facts is but.
Hmm.
It's never saying, well, I don't agree with you based upon that because the sources that you're using, boom, boom, boom. It's never that. It's always but.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about? Did you have you heard about that story about all of the money that was being spent by the Pentagon in September?
Yes, I'm on news every day. So between me working and doing what I'm doing I work from the house.
Uh
So
huh.
I get all the news, and I use the BBC and I try to use independent. Sometimes I'll go to some progressive news, but I try to get any away from anything that's opinionated. There's a
Mm-hmm.
people don't know the difference between a journalist, which we have few of now, and a lot of people that we see on online on the linear channels. They're commentators versus
Exactly.
journalists. It's a whole different thing. Have a journalist be able to present the news to you. That's a whole different thing. Yeah, and that's what we're being presented with in a slant. And
And that's also what the White House press corps is filling their press corps up with, because they really don't want journalists uh, uh, who have studied how to get a story, cover a story, ask a right question. Really don't want that. So you notice that they are filling their press pool up with influencers and
influencers,
things like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
people that they can manipulate. Just like when
Hmm.
that news came out that Joe Rogan was talking directly to Trump on the phone. He was one of the biggest proponents in saying release the Epstein files. He was the biggest proponents in regards to don't commit any wars or anything like that. But then he stopped talking about it. Then it was
Hmm.
discovered that Trump said that he was talking to Rogan, and Rogan has
Right.
not mentioned anything about that since.
Oh yeah, he has. He really has. He the I could I have been wrong? Now he's playing like He's talking about himself as if he was a third grader. How could I have not seen this? Could I have been wrong? And he's one of the ones who wants to say he sees some fishy things going on, but he'll talk about everybody else but 45, 47 himself directly.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
could
he's
I?
talking
Oh,
strictly to him. He's talking to him on
oh,
the phone.
yeah. So yeah, I noticed that. But a lot of those right leaning people like Tim Pool and a couple of more of them have straight out and said, they're really disgusted with him.
But they're disgusted, but they won't make a hard line in the sand in regards to, I can't support this guy. It's always still open. Oh, I'm
No, no,
still,
no.
he's,
No, a lot of them have made a hard line and said, what's that? The fat guy. I think that's not Tim Pool. Oh, I forget his name because I don't watch them on a regular. I find this out
uh-huh.
by watching the people who I
Oh, yeah,
watch.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah,
unfamiliar with a lot of these
yeah,
guys, but
yeah.
I think three of them who have a big following have one of them is on that podcast. Not Fresh and Fit. One of them. I'll find
Yeah,
it.
Fresh and Fit is not no longer uh
Yeah,
um, uh,
it's not that. They're
no.
no longer doing their thing.
No, because they got in trouble with this uh, advertisers over some of the women that they brought on, saying that
Oh,
they
okay.
were being harassed. All that. But
Oh, okay. No,
but
that's a
all
good
of them
thing.
were disguised. But all of them were disguising themselves as being independent and all that, and they were right leaning anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Their
exactly.
whole presentation was right leaning anyway. It's not a, and I don't have a. I'm an independent, registered independent from day one. It's not the thing of the traditional Republicans that you disagree with on policy. This is a
Hmm.
whole different thing. You can't even look. This MAGA cult is in no way, shape, or form have any association with the traditional Republican base that used to be. That doesn't even exist no more. The Mike Pence's and his little organization, that think tank that he has going, uh, this MAGA, the majority of the people that they have, don't even support it. Only these older people who consider themselves traditional Republicans support that, but they can't win any elections without MAGA.
And they can't win any elections without the independent, and they are driving them away. Now, what do you think about Lindsey Graham saying that he's going back to? I think he's in South Carolina and tell all the young people to register for the armed forces to go
But
fight in
but
this war.
but they have this selective service thing within the defense bill that
Hmm.
has automatically in 2027 will automatically register people from 18 to
At the
27.
age of
Yeah,
18. And I talked about that, and a lot of people tried to pretend like they didn't see why that was a problem because at the age of 18, you were supposed to go down there. Then let me tell you something. You're supposed to do a whole lot of stuff, but a lot of people choose not to go down there and register for the selected service just because you actually signed up for the military because you grew up in a lowly dust-ridden town that you only saw
had
the
no
military
options,
as an
no other options.
opportunity. So understand that 45, 47, he may have signed up for the selective service, but he didn't
No,
go to the military.
he was a
He
draft dodger.
Exactly. But he was drafted and he had to dodge the drafts, which means that he was signed up. But see, that was way back in the 60s that he probably had, well, most
Yeah, you talking about
definitely.
the Vietnam War and all
That,
that? You had a
yeah,
wars going on during that time.
yeah, that was way back in the 60s when he, and times have changed. People, these people nowadays they're not going down when they turn 18 to sign up for the military. So what did the government do? They said, "Forget it. We'll sign you up ourselves." That's very intrusive.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But you have people that may be objections or objectors that, for religious reasons or just they don't believe in war, don't want to sign up for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a lot of other reasons being, but this if you recall after 9/11, there was a thing within the evangelical uh, sphere that had pushed that we're against the reason that we support the Iraq War because we're against anything in regards to Islamic autocracy, theocracy, as far as them, making this into a caliphate or making America into an Islamic state, right? But all they
And
did is use the same type of platform to push the Christian nationalism. They're doing the
they
same
are
thing.
they are doing the exact same thing. So they want to call Muslims extremists, and now they are trying to turn United States into we are a Christian nation. I thought that the whole point of us creating the Constitution of America is because we won't have to follow any religion. We are not a
Yeah, but
Christian nation.
they ran away from the king because of that. That's why the United States was created.
Exactly. And we are not a Christian nation. And now
No,
they
not at
they
all.
try to say this as if it is fact. Well, yeah,
Because
we
you got
are a
people
Christian nation.
uneducated, but people are uneducated by it. Many of the people who told the line of Christianity, it has been by force anyway or manipulation. As far as when
And
people grow up, there's a difference from having faith in something that you know why you believe in it versus tradition. Most of this is tradition. If I ask a regular average person, what faith are you? They would say by default Christianity because traditionally that's what their family were. But if you ask them what are the basic principles of Christianity, they can't tell you.
they don't know. Also, this new Christianity that you're talking about, this is some perverted version of Christianity that they're trying to shove down the nation's throats. This is they're
Without a doubt.
using it like they used it in the slave era
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
control tactic.
Control mechanism. It was at a point where you couldn't, if you got caught reading, you were going to get hung and killed. And after they found out they were able to manipulate people based upon faith. And that's why you have all these missionaries going around the world pushing missionary work.
And that's why you have uh, a cat breath out here talking about some crusade. Anytime that you hear the head of the military are talking about some Christian crusade, like they had against whom the Muslim. They felt that the
Yes.
Muslims had taken over too much of the world. They're
No, they
still
were this that was about land and resources and power. They did that.
exactly.
That had nothing to
Ex-
do with no religion. It had everything to do with control and money. They knew that they had oil and everything else like that.
hmm
That's all that was
So
about.
now he's trying to, but see, they frame it as if it's about religion and God and spreading the word of God, and they put it under this Christianity, and we know that they don't live the lives of Christians, because if they lived the life of Christians, we wouldn't be over in Iran at all. Iran didn't do anything to us. And then to have to go back to what they have been doing for 47 years, and now none of this makes sense.
But he just said it just not long ago that they
Obliterated.
obliterated the nuclear capabilities and if they did that, why they saying now the reason for war that they were coming close to it? That's a lie. He keeps you can't anything that he says is always lying.
Always
Yeah.
lying.
So there's no way to have any sensible person that you would consider to be a leader that represents your country, you would have faith enough to know that he has at least a baseline of discernment to be able to conduct himself, even though he may be an idiot, but conduct himself in a manner in which you can be happily represented, at least on the surface, even if it's
Right.
lies. He can't do that. He does not have there.
He can
You know
he